Well, good morning, everybody. It is 10 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. We are live on KLYN, and we are live also on YouTube and Facebook right now. And we'll be for the next probably almost an hour. I don't know if I'm going to cut off early today. I haven't heard any news from the coffee shop, so it looks like if we have full staff today. I had a employee that was not feeling good for the last couple of days, so yours truly had to jump in. I like having two people at the coffee shop, but if it's me and somebody else, it's really 1.5 because I'm very limited on what I do. Anyway, 21 degrees is our current temperature. It feels like 17 out there with a 6-mile-an-hour breeze blowing out of the north. And my apologies to the 6 o'clock people that are always waiting for me to say when what the temperature is, what they're expecting when they leave the house. So it's cold, but it's going to warm up. We'll have weather reports at the bottom of the hour. Also, to let our Las Vegas people know that tonight here at Cornerstone Church, starting at 6 o'clock in the evening, we will have a time of fun and games and food. Thank you, Fabiola, for 2.5 hours. She's been doing a lot of work in the background to get this going. So we are going to be here at church. Doors will be open way before 6 o'clock. Heaters will be on. Games are ready to go. Food is going to be there. Some light snacks. It's not going to be like, like Christmas dinner or anything like that. But we will be here at Cornerstone Church at 6 o'clock this evening. And then at 8:30, we're going to try to get everybody together and have some intercessory prayer for a half an hour, praying for our city, state, nation, and the world. And if you have any particular needs, let us know. We will bring those up in prayer. Get them to us. So what else do I have to say? Oh, I think Ernie would like this one. It's Pecos and Valencia for championship game tonight at Stu Clark Tournament. But we'll be here doing different things. So, good morning, Ernie. He's with us already. We got him in Northern California. We got him in Alabama. Jeff is there. In fact, Jeff says it's 23 degrees this morning. So, we got you beat by 2 degrees. It's 21 currently. Over here, Kathleen is with us. I don't know if she's still on the East Coast or not, so we might have them coast to coast if Kathleen is still over there. Tom, oh, yeah, she is. I just saw that. So we have them in Virginia, and we have them in, what's the name? It's not Barstow. What's the name of the city there in Northern California? Ooh, my God. Ooh. And then Tom Cisneros is with us from the Espanola Valley. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reason that we're here, not so much for the announcements. We're here for the teaching today. So Jody, jumping in on this New Year's Eve 2025 flow. So that means that Joe is right behind her someplace, and we are going to see if we can do this and this and this and get into the second half of Genesis chapter 35, okay? So we saw yesterday at the end of the program, we saw Jacob had come back to Bethel, and we talked about this full circle. We talked about when God met him in Bethel 20 years ago. He went up to Padam Aram, came back 20 years later. He leaves he left at the beginning, when God met him in Bethel, he leaves Canaan land by himself. And when he returns, he doesn't return by himself. He has 4 wives. I know. I don't like it either, okay? But that's the way they did it, I guess. Whether it was right or wrong, I'm not going to... We'll talk about that one of these days in the sweet by and by, okay? But he has 4 wives. He has 12 children. He has servants, and I'm not talking about a few. He has to have thousands and thousands of livestock that he comes back with. He had told God promised him 20 years before, God had promised him, and we talked about this yesterday. We saw it. God told him, "Listen, you go and you run away from your brother. You go over there. You get yourself a wife. I'll take care of you." He says, "If you take care of me, well, then you'll be my God." Well, he comes back to Shechem, and before they leave to Bethel, he tells all of his people, gives them a little bit of a evangelistic message, and say, "Listen, Yahweh reigns here now. Throw off those earrings and all those idolatrous idols, thingsy dingies that you have, and let's throw them away." Good morning, Jennifer. Then they journeyed from Bethel. So he came back to Bethel. And God spoke to him again in Bethel. There was something special about, and old Jacob, he's renaming everything. Everywhere he goes, he says, "This is what happened here," and he would have been an excellent tour guide. In fact, other tour guides could have said, "Well, let's follow the steps. Let's follow the signs of Jacob in every place that he's gone and every place that he's renamed, and let's go over." And that's what the middle of the book of Genesis is doing for us. Okay? And he's going all over the place. Good morning, Andrea. Then, verse 16 is about where we left off yesterday. Then they journeyed from Bethel. And when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, Rachel labored in childbirth, and she had a hard labor. We know who Rachel is. That was his wife of choice. That was the woman that he met when he got to Padam Aram, and that is the one that he saw at the well, and he says, "Ooh la la, who is this?" And it just turned out that she was the one. She was related to him. That's who his mother had in mind, and the magic happened. And then her daddy gets in the way, and it went from 7 years to 20 years, and here he's back, but now he's back as a different guy. He's not Jacob anymore. We've already found out that God says your name ain't Jacob anymore. Your name is Israel. And there's going to be a little bit of transition period on that. Good morning, Yolanda. We're still praying for Yolanda. Her mom is who we're praying for. Then they journeyed from Bethel, also known as Luz. We torn down the Luz signs and we put up Bethel. Now, some people aren't going to like this, but, today Jacob would have a bag full of spray paint, and he'd be tagging everything. He'd be spraying over this one and say, no. And he'd probably put a mural there and say, "Welcome to Bethel." Well, I thought this was Luz. I guess Google Maps hasn't kept up with the name change, but it's Bethel. When they journeyed from Bethel, oh, Joe, now you got me sad. Joe Gentry puts, "Good morning for the last time this year." Where are you going, Joe? Well, we're all going into 2026 here in a few hours. They journeyed from Bethel, and when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, Rachel labored in childbirth, and she had hard labor. So Rachel that's the wife of his dreams. Okay, he's got 3 other wives, maybe even concubines. In fact, 2 of the wives are more concubines than there are wives. But now it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said to her, "Do not fear, you will have this son also." So the midwife knew that it was a son. Okay? And Rachel's, having a baby is hard enough without the complications that she's having, according to the women that have told me before. It's one of the hardest things that a person is ever going to do is to have a child. Painful, the whole thing that goes along with it, the 9 months and then the 9 minutes. And the midwife says to her, do not fear, you will have this son also. So she's having complications in the midst of her delivery. And it was so, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni. Ben-Oni, I don't know, Ben-Oni. But his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. Leroy Doty, where have you been? So, her soul was departing. She says, on the way out, on my way over, and let me tell you about death. We have a very fearful, perverted, especially as believers, concept of death. Who was it that I was talking to yesterday? Somebody and I were talking about, passing away, somebody getting sick or something like that, passing away. Hey, if you're a believer, dude, you just walk through the curtain from gray to bright lights. I mean, yeah, we kind of making it. We got Jesus, and we have the church, and we have one another, and we have family, hopefully, and we have everything. But dude, waiting on the other side, and she dies. She died. Rachel died. Oh, let's celebrate. Let's give her a good send off. There's a old Spanish song we used to sing. Allá quiero ir, y tú? I want to go there. How about you? Until death comes knocking at the door. There's a Spanish joke that goes along with that one, too. We won't go over that right now. And it was soulless. Her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, the son of what is it, of fear? But his father called him Benjamin. Let's go to Amplified, and we went through here yesterday. Son of my sorrow is what she named the son. But Jacob jumped in and says, well, let's not finish off. I could see the doctor on the birth certificate go B-E-N, and stop, doctor. Let me fill in the rest. He is the son of my right hand, not the son of my sorrow. Okay? So it was, as her soul was departing, for she died. And if you're looking at the screen this morning, I think I have it up. Yes, I do. Okay? If you're looking at the screen this morning, I'm in the New King James Version. And for she died is in parentheses in the New King James. That isn't my commentary. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath. That is Bethlehem. So we're going to have another name change one of these days. Okay? Very interesting to find out what Ephrath means and what Bethlehem means. Okay? So there's to these people, the names of people and places were more than just something that they pulled out of a hat someplace. It meant something along the way. Okay? Ephrath, let's see if I can find what Ephrath means. Yeah, see that. You're not telling me anything. I don't see that at the beginning here. They're not giving us much, so I should have done that already. Didn't even think of it. And Jacob set a pillar on her grave, which is the pillar. Now, I want you to pick something out here as we're reading verses 20 and 21. Okay? I want you to, what is there anything that kind of makes you ask a question? Because I'm telling you, if you're reading the Bible and you're reading the Bible and you're asking questions, what, why, where, how, when, as you're reading along with it with a good heart, it makes you go deeper and deeper into it. Huh? So what I'm saying is that it's not bad. Well, I can't ask any questions. I'm not supposed to. Yes, you are. The Holy Spirit wants to reveal, and Paul prayed for the church that we would have the spirit of wisdom and revelation. Revelation is the answer to the questions that we have. But watch verse 20 and 21 before we get into a song. I better put this down because I might step on that song there. Jacob set a pillar on her grave, which is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Then Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. So I want you to read 20 and 21, and during the song, and once we finish the weather report, you tell me what you see. What do you see? And Jacob set a pillar on her grave, which is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day, and Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. Anything? Do you see anything or any questions that come up? Came up in my mind this morning as we were doing that. Anyway, what do we have? I have Don Pothra singing Before the Throne of God Above.
My name is written on his heart. I know that while in heaven he stands, no tongue can bid me thence depart. No tongue can bid me thence.
Thank you, Leroy Doty.
When Satan tempts me to despair and tells me of my guilt within, upward I look to see him there, who made an end to all my sin. Because the sinless Savior died, my sinful soul is counted free. For God the just is satisfied to look on him and pardon me. To look on him and pardon me. Lord, we praise you I see him there, the risen Lamb, my perfect, spotless righteousness, the great unchangeable I am, the King of glory and of grace. One with himself, I cannot die. My soul is purchased with his blood. My life is hid with Christ on high, with Christ my Savior and my God, with Christ my Savior and my one with himself. One with himself, I cannot die. My soul is purchased with his blood. My life is hid with Christ on high, with Christ my Savior and my God, with Christ my Savior and my God. Before the throne of God above, I have a strong, perfect plea, a great high priest whose name is love, whoever lives and pleads for me.
30 minutes after the hour, Don Pothra singing Before the Throne of God Above. 22 degrees is our current temperature. Feels like 19 out there. Weatherman says we're going to have a high today of 64 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Wind, okay, a little bit coming out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high near 60. Breezy with the west wind 10 to 15 and gusts as high as 35 miles per hour. And then on Friday, mostly sunny, high near 58. West wind 15 to 20 miles per hour. And that is your updated weather report. You have till 6 o'clock today to get in your prayer requests. And we would really like for you to bring them personally to Cornerstone Church and have some fun and some snacks, some games with us at 6 o'clock today. And then at 8:30, we're going to be praying for any requests that we have and get them in. Get them in. And if you're in Huntsville, Alabama, or you're out over there in California someplace, text them, email them. You got the address. You know how to get it. Well, let me tell you the address. klyn903@gmail.com is the address. Ready? I'm ready. I don't know why. Talking about anyway, maybe we won't talk about that right now. Had a guy yesterday come in wanting to start his own podcast. And he looking for a computer expert so he could, you know anybody I can hire? I said, you don't need a computer expert. Come in, let me show you what I'm doing. And I ain't no computer expert. Got to have some money. You got to have a little bit of want to, and let's get it done. So here we are. And I don't see, Leroy says, a pivotal moment in Jacob's life. Okay. Lost remembrance and moving forward. Also, Leroy there commenting off of verses 19 and 20. I don't see anything else, people commenting anything else, okay? So, but Leroy did comment that Ephrath means fruitful, okay? So we went from Ephrath to Bethlehem, okay? Now, Rachel died. No. Verse 20 and 21. Jacob set a pillar on her grave, which is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Then Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the Tower of Eder. Why is he called Jacob in verse 20 and Israel in 21? Because we know that Israel is a person now. It's not a nation. And why is it that when he's bearing Rachel, he's Jacob, and then he leaves and he's Israel? Now, Chuck Missler used to say this all the time. There are no accidents in the Bible. Everything is there for a purpose. And when I began to believe what Chucky said, I said, well, then let's start asking some questions. And because God has a way. Now, Jacob didn't write this. Abraham didn't write this. Okay? For all intents and purposes, Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. And why do we use his old name in verse 20 and then his new name, his God-given new name in verse 21. There's a break as far as I'm concerned. It's a pivotal moment in Jacob's life. Leroy Doty. Pivotal to the point to where he's Jacob as he's putting to rest the wife of his heart. The other ones, they were his wives. They produce children. God bless them all. You know what I mean? But it was Rachel. We know that from the beginning it was Rachel. But he ain't Jacob anymore. He puts her in the grave. He sets up a pillar like he always does, some type of a marker, something like that. I mean, this dude, he keeps the memories alive. Then, verse 21, he walks away not as Jacob, but he walks away as Israel. a prince of God, I think is what does Israel mean? Because we know that Jacob, maybe because he has his 12th child, that's a good one, Jesusita. Because now he's complete. See, that's the type of stuff that we have to think about. And I didn't even think about that. Now he has 12 sons. There's going to be 12 tribes. But he's not Jacob anymore. God already told him twice already, your name isn't going to be Jacob, your name is going to be Israel. He walks away as a different person. And he puts away the old. Okay? And he marks it along the way. Jacob's beloved. It was his beloved. But it was his beloved from an old part of him, an old movie, and now it's time to start the new movie. And Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond. It's talking about a person. It's not talking about the 12 plus Diana, or what was her name? And everybody, it wasn't Diana. Yeah, sorry. And it happened. When Israel dwelt in that land. And you say, well, what's the big deal? If you're reading the Bible and not just skimming through it, those things become markers along the way in you. And there's a personal lesson for us. Are you the old man, or are you living in the new man? Jacob represented the old man. Jacob represented the deceiver. The supplanter was more popular. But now we have a prince with God. Isn't that what they call him? Israel. Let's see if we can get that. Contender with God. Whew. Big tie. The prince that prevails with God, according to Smith's Bible Dictionary. He's walking away. And he's put the past behind him. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. Then Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the Tower of Eder. And Jesusita said, maybe because he has his 12th child, maybe that's part of it. That could, and Andrea puts on the YouTube comment section, his beloved. That was his beloved. That was his girl. But I think she represents a little bit of the old man. Time to move on now into the newness. Oh, he could have stayed there in Bethlehem and cried and just, no. Time to move on. Then Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the Tower of Eder. Now, the tower was where the shepherds would be able to look around to where's the bears and the wolves and all that stuff coming. Just a side note. And it happened. Okay? So he pitched his tent beyond the tower, and it happened when Israel dwelt in that land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine. And Israel heard about it. Israel the person, not Israel as a people, a person. Singular. And they're still calling him Jacob. Anyway, so who's Bilhah? Bilhah was the maid that Laban gave to Rachel and the second 7 years when Jacob married Rachel. Along with her comes her maid. And Bilhah had some of the 12 that we've been talking about, that Jesusita was talking about. Okay? Because we have 4 wives, remember. Leah had 6 of the children, and each of the others had 2 of the other 3. So, Rachel has passed away, and Reuben don't know for sure if I should say it this way, takes advantage, maybe I shouldn't say this, but takes advantage of the maid. Well, Rachel's not around anymore, so I guess she's fair game. He lay with his father's concubine. She was one of his wives. That's why I say / concubines. Another thing that I don't get. Don't need either. But he lay with Bilhah, his father. First of all, we have Levi and Simeon, sons number 2 and 3, slaughtering the circumcised. Terrible. We saw that. And I told you yesterday, man, that's ugly. And now we have Reuben, the oldest, who now Reuben was like Esau was supposed to get the birthright and the blessing. He goes and he lays with his father's concubine. Oh, yeah. Where were you? Oh, I was out with your girlfriend last night. Cochino. Huh? No turning back, Joe Flo, no turning back. And Israel heard about it. That's all it says. And Israel heard about it. Kind of reminds me about him hearing about something else, not doing much about it. Now, the sons of Jacob were 12. See, so we keep on going back between Jacob and Israel, talking about the same person. Sometimes we use his old name, sometimes we use his new name. So, the sons of Leah, first wife, Leah. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn. Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. 6 of them. Sons of Leah. Okay? She was, she wasn't the prettiest of the bunch, but she was the most productive of the bunch. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. Not Benoni, but Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's maidservant, whom Reuben just decided he was going to take her out on a date, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's maidservant, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Padan Aram. And not all of them were born in Padan Aram, because for sure Benjamin wasn't. But the other 11 were. And this is just talking about the sons. And we know what's going to happen with these sons. We know that they're going to be the 12 tribes. And we know that one of these days, before Moses allows Joshua to take them into the land, that they're going to divide the land up against the different tribes. And each one of the tribes, there's going to be a Reuben tribe, a Simeon tribe, no, the Levites aren't really going to have. We'll get into Joseph and the splitting up of Joseph, because Joseph's sons are going to get the birthright and the blessing. It's going to happen. A little confusing, but we'll get there. So the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's maidservant, were Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's maidservant, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him at Padan Aram. Then Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre. What? Wait a minute. Isaac? What was the last time we saw Isaac? Anybody remember? Huh? Anybody remember? When was the last time we saw Isaac? When Jacob took the blessing away from Esau, when he comes with a meal and gets the blessing instead of Esau, Isaac was already blind and on his deathbed. Everybody said, well, you better go take care of business because I ain't got much time left, and you want the blessing, go get me a meal, and, go to McDonald's, get me a happy meal, and we'll give you a happy blessing. And the father's still alive. This is 20 years later. These guys, they just don't die. Then Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, or Kirjath Arba, that is Hebron. Ooh, we got 3 names for the same place where Abraham and Isaac had dwelt. So Jacob comes to his father. at Mamre, or Kirjath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had dwelt. So Isaac is there, Abraham had been there before. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years. In this time, Isaac is going to live longer than anybody in his generations. I mean, we're not dealing with the 900 years of Melchizedek anymore, or some of these other guys that are out over there. We're after the flood, and after we say we're not going to let guys stay alive that much longer. Isaac at 180 years old, that was, my God. So Isaac breathed his last and died. Saw his son come back. Come on. Read between the lines. Does Jacob just show up and the old man pass away, or does Jacob show up and he marches his family? Here's Leah. Here's Rachel's not here anymore because we left her behind. But here's the maids, and here's all my sons. Dad, come and I want to. I can't see them, but let me put my hands on them. Big boys, you got there. They're your grandsons, Dad. These are your grandsons. And remember that God had promised you and promised grandfather and promised me that these were going to be part of the generational work that he's doing. The days of Isaac were 180 years. So Isaac breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people. There's death. Gathered to his people. Gathered to Rebekah. Gathered to Abraham. Gathered to his mother. Gathered to his people. Well, he died, and, we're all, yeah. Be sad. You're sad for yourself. You're not sad for him. Unless he's not saved. Unless he's not walking in covenant. There's something to be a little sad about. It should be a lesson for ourselves. So Isaac breathed his last and died. Gathered to his people, being old and full of days. I would say so. Lived a full life here on earth. But he's still alive. He is still alive. You got to look forward to that. You have to look forward. If you're born again, if you're a believer, if you're on the discipleship track, you're looking forward to that and say, yeah, one of these days, but until then. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. So Esau and Jacob, remember, they're friends now. They're not waiting for you don't. We're going to go into the next chapter now. They're not waiting for the old man to die so that they can get into the ring and find out who's going to be the dog. God has already told us who the big dog is. There's been prophecies. Now, verse 1, chapter 36, and we're just going to kind of set this up. We got some time. Okay. So we're going to go through some of these verses. We're going to talk about some of the things, and then tomorrow we'll be back on New Year's Day. Yeah, I intend on being here and talking about the 36th chapter of the book of Genesis. But let's start off. It says, now. And if anybody sees anything that we can add to it, get it ready. Now, this is the genealogy of Esau. Review. Who is Esau? Esau is Isaac's firstborn. He's Jacob's brother. Esau was the one who came out of the womb, a twin of Jacob, but he beat Jacob, and Jacob tried everything that he could do to come out first because he wanted the birthright. He wanted the blessing, and Esau got it because he was firstborn, but he didn't care about it. Now, let's look a little bit about Esau in the New Testament. Let's go just straight to the New Testament and do a search. 3 places in the New Testament it talks about Esau. And if you're using eSword or want to use it, you kind of saw how I did a search on it without going through the typing and all that. As it is written, just a right click is all you need to do and then follow the instructions. As it is written, verse 13, chapter 9. As it is written, Jacob I have loved, but Esau I have hated. And you see, what do we notice about this verse? Number one, it's in quotations. It's all caps, meaning that it's a quotation from the Old Testament. God himself saying, I loved Jacob, but Esau I have hated. Now, what do we learn about that? Well, we learn about that. We can add to Hebrews 12:16, our last reference on that list, lest there be any fornicator or profane person like Esau, who for one morsel of food sold his birthright. The birthright was a spiritual inheritance that the firstborn would get. And he sells his birthright, which was the spiritual inheritance that God had for him. And Hebrews tells us, well, Romans tells us that God didn't like him. And you have to get into the word hate and make sure that you understand what that means. And we'll be there one of these days, because we just keep on going, verse at a time, chapter at a time, just marching through it. But he says he didn't care about the spiritual. You say, well, why did God hate? Why was God not very happy with Esau? Because what the spiritual inheritance that came from heaven for him, he didn't care about it. He was a fornicator and he was profane. Okay, let's do something about that verse there. Let's look and see what the message says. Watch out for the Esau syndrome. Trading away God's lifelong gift, the birthright, in order to satisfy a short-term appetite. What was the short-term appetite? Doesn't tell us much in the Message Bible, but it says he was a fornicator and a profane person. Okay? How about Amplified? What does the Amplified say? See to it that no one is immoral instead of fornicator, or godless instead of profane, like Esau, who sold his own birthright for a single meal. So you get into the translations and you try to get a little bit better, what is fornicator, what is profane, what's it talking about, and you can really dig deep into these and get a whole much better understanding on. And then even in the Amplified, it gives us the chapter of what it's talking about, chapter 25 of the book of Genesis. Okay, where he, cooked up the lentils and said, okay, I'll give you the pot of stew, you give me the birthright. What does a birthright mean to me? And you can find out why we're going to Romans chapter 9, Hebrews chapter 12. But it also says in Hebrews chapter 11, the hall of faith, by faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. So as we're doing a little bit of a review on Esau, before we get into how come I'm not there, it's because, let's see, where's my, right there. We were in Genesis, let's go right about there. Nope. Renames them. No, I want to be in chapter 36. Okay, that's where we were at. Not in the Amplified, we're in the New King James. Now we're back. Okay, why are we reviewing Esau? Because then this whole chapter is going to be about Esau. We saw what God did with Jacob's life. Okay? We saw what God did with Jacob's life. We saw the full. Now, we're not going to see a full circle on Esau, not even in a whole chapter, but he's going to be fruitful and he's going to multiply also. But remember, when Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau lost not only the birthright, but he lost the blessing also. And remember, let's see if I can go there. Let's go here. Let's knock this one off. Let's go to treasure your scripture knowledge. And let's see if that's the place I'm looking for. Yeah, I think it's chapter 27. So, remember, we were in Hebrews chapter 11. Isaac blessed Jacob and blessed Esau. What was the blessing that Jacob got? Okay? All right, let's see what had happened. I'm your firstborn. Isaac trembled. Esau heard the words of his father. Esau said, where's the blessing? Therefore, okay, here's the blessing that Jacob got that his father thought it was Esau. So this is what was waiting for Esau, but Esau did not want it. Am I? Yeah, I have a few seconds left, and then we'll get into a song. And maybe we'll cut over the song a little bit. But let's see what verse 28, chapter 27, Genesis says, the blessing. Here's the blessing that was intended for Esau, and he thought he was going to get it, but he didn't really care. It wasn't valuable. The inheritance wasn't invaluable. Therefore, may God give you, Jacob, not Esau, the dew of heaven, the fatness of the earth, the plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brethren, Esau part of that, and let your mother's sons bow down to your, Esau is specifically there, cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be the one who blesses you. You say, well, that's pretty heavy, man. That's pretty, and Esau could have had that. He could have had that. Didn't want it. So look at the blessing. And then we look later that Esau comes in and says, how about for me? You got anything for me? We'll cover that after the top of the hour.
To my heart to sing your grace, streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some his name, I'm fixed upon it, name of God's redeeming love. Lord, I know your love has blessed me. You have brought me to this place, and I know your hand will bring me safely home by your good grace. Jesus, find me where a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. Then he rescued me from danger, bought me with his precious blood. Oh, to praise how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let your goodness flow around me, bind my wandering heart to thee. Prone to wander, Lord, I fear it. Prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for your courts above. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung of God's redeeming love. Bought me with His precious blood. Seal it for your son.
Well, good morning, Las Vegas. You are listening to KLYN 90.3 FM on this last day of 2025. Mark Sides, your host here on the early morning program, showing a current temperature of 23 degrees. Feels like 19 out there. Full weather report at the bottom of the hour. We are in the 36th chapter of the book of Genesis. Okay? But what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up this chapter for tomorrow, because you'd say, oh, okay, we're going to hear a bunch of names, and all we're going to hear, wait. This is Esau, okay? He's an important personality in the Bible. And there's a contrast and a contradiction between Esau and Jacob. There's the comparison, the contrast, the contradiction between Esau and his brother Jacob. And what I'm trying to do is before we get into a bunch of names tomorrow, and we'll try to make sense out of these names, but to know the why. Who is this Esau guy? Well, we're doing a little bit of backtracking, and we're figuring out who it is. But before we do that, I want to let you know that we have a website, lvcornerstone.com, a phone number, 454-9527. We also have an email address, klyn903@gmail.com. As I've told you already, we're going to have some intercessory prayer after our New Year's Eve get-together. And if you have a particular issue you want us to pray for, get us in. You need healing, you need something going on in your family, something's going on somewhere down, and you want extra prayer, you could get a hold of us. And that's one way, klyn903@gmail.com. Or you can just come at 6 o'clock and have some food, some fun, and game with us, and then we'll all pray together. The genealogy of Esau. Let's get into that. Who is Esau? Who is Esau? He's Edom. Edom mean red. See, from Esau was going to come the Edomites. But remember, there was a blessing. This is where we left it off before we played the last song. Okay? The blessing. Here's the blessing that was intended, and Isaac thought, Isaac's on his last few days. No, dude, he's going to live at least 20 years longer. But he's blind, he can't see too good, he's on his bed, and they figure, oh, the old man's going to pass away, and therefore, here's the blessing. And Jacob is getting the blessing with his hairy gloves on and his hairy necktie, Therefore, may God give you of the dew of heaven. Ooh, this is something. This is a spiritual opening to the will of God for the person that's standing in front of Isaac the patriarch. May God give you the dew of heaven. No dryness in your world. Of the fatness of the earth. Oh, the harvest is going to be yours. The dew of heaven is going to come down, and the fatness of the earth is going to be yours. And plenty of grain and wine. He's blessing him with harvest. The dew of heaven is more than just a few drops of rain that falls down. In fact, the Bible says, isn't my word like the rain that comes down from heaven? That's what I want. I like to see the rain fall down, but I like to see revelation fall down right along with it. How about you? But there's more. Let peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brethren and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Isaac thought that he was switching back roles to Esau again, and he wasn't. God says, no. He don't care about my stuff. Cursed be everyone who curses you, Jacob, and blessed be those who bless you. And that's the blessing that Jacob got. And then Esau comes in and says, how about me? How about me? Don't you have any blessing left? Well, kneel down in front of me, son. Let's see what God says. Verse 39, chapter 27. Isaac, his father, answered and said to him, behold, your dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And I think probably right about now, Isaac's saying, well, here it comes. Here it comes. He's going to have the dew of heaven like his brother. He's going to have the fatness of the earth like his brother. Man, because he liked Esau. He liked Esau better than he liked Jacob. Then he goes on to line number 2. By your sword you shall live. You're going to be a man of war. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. No, Dad, don't say that. I'm the oldest. And the oldest just by a few seconds or minutes or something like that. I mean, I don't think it does. And it asked the doctor, asked the midwife, and it shall come to pass when you become restless that you shall break his yoke from your neck. That's what we're going to see here real soon. We're going to see part of the fulfillment of this blessing here. He's going to have the fatness of the earth. He's going to have the dew of heaven, But he's also going to serve his brother. And then sooner or later, you're going to get tired of serving your brother, and you're going to break off the yoke. So all of this, I don't know if I have it right here or not. Didn't think I did. All of this is just for us when we get into chapter 36 tomorrow, is for us to understand a little bit about is God going to be? God is always faithful. I don't even know why I asked the question. Good morning, Chana. 21 degrees in I almost said in Budo, in El Huique. Nobody, Andrea, nobody knows what we're talking about. They say, what's that? This is the genealogy of Esau, who is Edom. So we're going to find out about what happens to Esau / Edom. There is a Jacob / Israel. There is an Esau / Edom. Esau, I have to say this over and over again, did not esteem the things of God. It wasn't valuable to him. He had muscle. He had a good arrow eye. He could take care of himself. At least he thought so. And then later he wants. And isn't this like many of us? We want both sides. He said, well, I can take care of myself, but give me the blessing and the birthright also. It ain't so easy. So put your bookmark on verse 1, chapter 36. And if you so choose tomorrow to be with us at 6:10 in the morning, I plan on being here, and we will look at Esau tomorrow. And look at the blessing, look at the past, and look at the present, and even look a little bit into the future of Esau's life. But God, through the through the mouth of Isaac, he's already set the course for their lives. Aaron Schust is giving it all away. I'm leaving, and I'll be back tomorrow, maybe tonight. You people from locally, 6 o'clock tonight here at 22:00.